Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Steve Belcher with Urban Health Outreach Media. Thanks for watching another episode of Smashing Kidney Disease. Tonight, I got a great show. As you can see in my background, I got the lovely Dee Brigsby with me. Was able to meet her down here and her husband Tyrone in Bowie, Maryland. So this is a pleasure. So without further ado, I'm going to bring them on camera. Hey, Tyrone and Dee, how y'all doing?
All right, how's it going?
All right. So, wow, this is a honor to finally meet you. Y'all was on our show. How many months ago was that?
At least 2, right?
Oh no, it was more than that.
Oh
I think it was in like 2018.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Before the holidays or after the holidays?
I'm gonna say about maybe 5 months, maybe 5, 6 months.
Yeah. So how you been since then? How's the heart transplant?
Been working great. It's still functioning, beating strong. I mean, we're doing great. I'm doing a lot of follow up. My annual would be the 19th of this month would be my annual reaction for 5 years since.
Wow! Congratulations.
Years, yeah.
So for people who didn't see our show when you was on that first, can you just briefly touch over your story with your heart transplant?
Yes. I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure 5 years ago, and I was in the last stages of congestive heart failure, and my only hope for life was the gift of life would be a transplant. I went on the heart transplant list in Mayo Clinic, located in Jacksonville, Florida. And I was on the waiting list for 5 weeks, and when they found a possible match, and the match for me was a 14-year-old young man, Kyle Roger, his mother Tina, and his father Jeff gave honor to Kyle's wishes. He had a conversation with them both 3 months prior to a car accident he was involved in, stating if anything ever occurred to him, he would like his organs to be donated. And after speaking with Jeff and Tina briefly, a lot of people think that would be a hard decision for a parent to make. And Jeff, his father, stated that was one of the easiest decisions that he ever made because his son made known to him what he wanted his wishes to be if something was like that to happen to him. So he honored his wishes and said, yes, it's the reason I'm here. And I'm also an organ donor myself. Okay. And so is my wife.
Wow. So was it tough, Dee, to see Tyrone go through this during that time?
Oh, definitely. When he first fell ill, I knew he was sick unto death, but he didn't know he was sick unto death. And I let him know, hey, if you don't get to the hospital, something's going to happen. And I was afraid. And he finally made it to the hospital, of course, by push. But he made it to the hospital, and they kept him for 2.5 weeks in the hospital and ICU. And he had to learn how to walk again. He had to, he was just so sick and so weak. He couldn't even, they told him he couldn't leave until he just learned how to do everything all over again. And so he had to use a walker to walk the hallways. And my uncle, Ernie, helped him in the back and pushed him and told him, hey, get up. You could do this. You could do it. And let's go. Let's get this going so you could get up and get strong enough to get this heart. And he made it.
So, Tyrone, was there ever a time during that process, far as after you got the transplant, that you were depressed or went through any type of feelings?
Yes. When I found out the age of my donor, people thought I would be happy, but it actually put me in a depression. I felt, I was 51 years of age. I at least had lived 51 years of life. When I found out the age of my donor, it just hit me really hard. It really did. I didn't expect that type of a response or reaction. It just happened that way. Unless a person is actually faced with a near-death situation and have to have the gift of life in order to live, can they truly understand what I was emotionally going through at that point?
Sure. And when you were going through actually getting the transplant, you were dealing with the hurricane at the same time. Was that Can you share about that?
The hurricane actually occurred, I think maybe a year after, maybe.
Oh, okay.
A year after the hurricane, but it pretty much destroyed our home. We couldn't live in the home for a year and a half. I mean, we basically stayed in our RV for a year and a half. It was 2 feet of water through the entire home.
Wow.
And so, I mean, with mold and things like that nature, just undergoing a transplant, you wouldn't want to be in that type of environment.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be healthy.
Were you concerned when that happened by just having that transplant a year out and this happening?
Yes. I knew that going in that rejection and infection is our 2 biggest culprits, and getting infected or coming in contact with mold or some type of bacteria, something that could possibly infect me and could be terminal, I wouldn't want to be exposed to.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So what brought you up north all the way from Jacksonville, Florida?
It's an amazing story. My donor, he was cremated shortly after the car accident, and his remains was held by his father, Tina and Jeff. And we were invited up to Vermont for his final funeral services, which is roughly 1,300 miles from Jacksonville. So we commuted up the East Coast to show our gratitude and show last respect for our donor. I mean,
wow.
With gratitude, I said that's the least I could do was make that trip. It was a long trip, but we made it.
We've seen the pictures Dee posted on Facebook in New York and the traffic leaving and some of the beautiful sights that y'all were able to see up there.
Oh yeah, and the services and Kyle's family and his mother and father and his grandparents were there. I met his sisters, his brothers, people in his family, just all warming. But it was a very emotional services. It was a great service to attend, and I mean, I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
Right. And for like maybe some of our guests may not know, Kyle was white.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And I say that to say that there's no race barrier when it comes to donation, and the family, even though they are Vermont and the population up there is pretty much Caucasian. But they accepted you with open arms and everything.
Yes, because when it comes to becoming an organ donor, the race it's not a barrier. It's basically a lot of it's based on blood type, body size, your mass, and geographical location, primarily because there's certain time frames in between organs which it has to be transplanted from donor to recipient, and there's a lot of other factors that play in there medically that comes into play. But as far as race, ethnic group, background, religion, none of those issues or criteria is of any concern.
Wow. So with this final resting, they buried the urine. Can you explain that?
Yes. At the burial site,
this is 5 years later.
5 years later.
Okay.
5 years later, Kyle was born there in Vermont, and that was home. And I guess they had a family plot there, and everyone would be buried in that spot. And I could respect that. You know, they wanted to them, Kyle, Vermont was home.
Okay.
And they wanted his final resting place to be home. And they prepared a place for themselves if in the future something would happen to them. They wanted to be near their son. So I respected that 100%. You know, it was a very emotional and very special moment.
Were a lot of people in attendance?
I think pretty close to 80, close to 100 people showed up. It was a really big turnout. You know, look, Kyle giving person. He's giving now, even though he's not with us. A part of Kyle lives on through me. I mean, we have talked to thousands of people, young and old, about Kyle and telling them about his story, his legacy, what he stood for, how he loved to help people, how he cared about people, because he brought the message of organ donor to his parents. They didn't bring it to him. He actually brought the conversation up.
Wow. And how old was this guy?
He was 14. So
14 years old.
14 years of age. And it's almost as though he had an epiphany if something was to happen to it. This young kid had the insight for the preservation of life. If I couldn't be here one day, how could I impact people in a positive way? And he said, hey, you know, if I can use my organs, if it could help someone live longer, I would like you to do that.
Wow.
So that's, I mean, he was mature far beyond his years of age of 14 years of age.
Right. I remember seeing the video of the dad talk about him and how he choked up.
Yeah.
In that video. Wow. So have you or have the parents noticed maybe any of Kyle's characteristics in you?
Wow. I should let Dee take that one. It's Dee, you want to give them some insight on that?
Definitely. They was joking about it when we went down there this time. Jeff was joking about it. He said, you know, Tyrone never liked camouflage, but now he wear camouflage. He wear hats. You should see the hat he got on. Kyle, I love that type of hat he got on. He said, now he wear camouflage. I said, guess what? He went out and bought a shotgun. He said, what? Tyrone, you bought a shotgun? He said, yeah, because Kyle used to be a hunter with his father. And he said, what you going to do with a shotgun, Tyrone? He said, I'm going hunting. I started laughing. Wow. I'm like, you going hunting? I'm like, oh my God. And then he had a different walk and he had a different talk. He said, even the parents were saying, now he said, I got this. And Kyle used to say, I got this. And now he says, I got.
Wow.
So they even know.
So you weren't saying that before.
Right. I wasn't saying it before.
And he wasn't walking different either.
And I had no interest in camo at all. Zero.
No, he love it now.
I love it.
Wow.
I love it.
Did you know that these were some of Kyle's?
No, I didn't know anything about Kyle until I met Tina and Jeff. 8 months post-transplant.
Wow.
So this put it all together, you know.
Yeah.
But they say the heart holds memory, so I don't know. I've heard stories of people that didn't like strawberries underwent a transplant. All of a sudden they had a craving for strawberries. When they did research, they found out their donor loved strawberries.
And he used to jump out the car all the time because he didn't like my music anymore. Yeah, so he like, I don't know what kind of music he like now, but he didn't like my music anymore.
I remember you telling that story.
He still be telling me to turn it off, or he'll turn it real low, like we can't hear it. And no disrespect, but when I wear camouflage, for some reason he liked that on me camouflage, so he'll call me his black redneck.
Right.
I'm like, where did that come from? I'm like, this is weird, you know. So we just, you know, make it through the day and laugh and you know, enjoy each other. And now we're traveling. We've been traveling for a week now. It's gonna take us a week to get back home, but just enjoying, you know, life.
So Dee, when Tyrone was going through this, and when you seen him at his darkest moments, did you think this day would be here, y'all traveling up? And did you ever, probably back then, could see that this could be unfolding?
Oh, never. I mean, I did hold him up far as, you know, encourage him, but I wouldn't have never, I only could see today, you know, and then the next day I could see today. You know, I will pray each day, but it was that dark moment that, you know, you felt like you was by yourself. But, you know, we made it.
Right. Now, what would you suggest to a spouse or caregiver that has a loved one that not need just a heart transplant, but kidney or liver, or in that position? What advice could you say to them, and how you handle Tyrone's situation as a caregiver?
You will have to have patience, lots and lots of patience, and understanding, and understand what they're going through, even though you're not going through, but you're going through your own, because you're a caregiver and you love that person, that's your loved one. But you got to have patience and understanding and love, and just stick in there with them. You know, don't just walk away during the time, even though it's hard. Yes, it is hard. And you don't want to see nobody suffering and going through. And as a caregiver, we was going through too. Right. But we had to hold up our spouses or our loved ones or our parents or sisters and brothers, whoever we have to be a caregiver for. But just hold them up and keep prayer and, you know, keep praying and just stay in there with them. Stick in there.
That's great.
The end is better than the beginning.
Mm-hmm. So Tyrone, what's the future? You did the trip to Vermont. It seemed like that was pretty much the the highlight to something more bigger. So any plans on advocating for organ donation in the future?
Yes, my plans for the future is to bring educational material and foresight to people in general about the importance of becoming a registered donor. I think that is really important to keep Kyle's legacy alive, to let people know that becoming an organ donor, I know we all must die one day, but it's also is a part of preservation of life. If we couldn't be here one day, it's possible that we still could help another live. And it's about giving. It's not about color, race, or sex. It's about giving and what you can do to help your fellow man and your fellow loved one. Because I mean, we all going back to the dust one day. But I've let know that I am a registered organ donor. If I die in such a way that it can help another person to live on, I would like that to be so, because I wouldn't be able to use it anymore. So why not offer life to another and give them a chance? So
Absolutely.
I mean, educating people and bringing enlightenment, and also getting rid of a lot of myths about becoming an organ donor is important also.
Is there a book in the works, you think?
It's possible. Possibly a book would possibly be in the works, because I think this is a story that needs to be told, and I think it's worth telling and people to learn about it in a true story.
So when we go back, we plan to work on it and to try to get that book out there for everybody to read, because it's a true life event. This actually happened.
And with so much bad happening in the world today, I think this will be a good thing, doing something positive, because every time you turn the news and the media on, something bad, something terrible, or a tragedy, and this is something of life and giving and preservation of life. I think it's a positive thing, not a bad thing.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. I had brought my stethoscope. I wanted to know if I can hear Kyle's heart.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Is that okay?
That's fine. Yeah.
Oh, no, I can slide over a little bit.
Okay.
All right. I'm here, Kyle. Wow, that's a strong heartbeat.
It is strong.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I appreciate that, really. And for that, I brought you and Dee a gift, T-shirts. I didn't have, they're different. So this is for you, Tyrone, because I only had an extra large in this, and basically one from one of my lines, from the K to this, and change your thinking, change your health.
All right.
Yeah, I want to send you one with our organization. I gave one I had was our urban renal talk with Tamika and Steve for Dee. Yeah,
okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, remember us. Yeah, for being a good sport, coming on the show and doing this, taking the time out of your vacation and meeting with me.
We're glad to meet you. We're so happy.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy and fortunate to meet you. Who would have known when we first talked on air that we would meet up? I thought it would be in Jacksonville, maybe me coming down there, but it's here in Bowie, Maryland.
With our cousin Michelle.
Wow, this is awesome. I mean, I've met not a lot of people, but maybe like 5 or 6 off Facebook in different states.
Oh, wow.
Just doing this with raising awareness with kidney disease. But nowadays, when it comes to organ donation, it's not just kidney disease. It's heart transplant, liver disease, bone marrow, especially in urban community where it's a big need. For organ donors. And you actually know Nashida Larimore, right?
Nashanda.
Oh, Nashanda. Okay, Shonda. I'm sorry, Nashanda.
No, she wished me a happy birthday on Facebook. On August 8th was my birthday. So Hey, Nashonda.
Oh, that's my daughter's birthday.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought it was the
God.
9th, but
No, it's
it's the 8th.
Oh my God, everybody's
Sanaya.
birthday was on there.
Yeah,
Okay. Happy
yeah.
birthday,
Yeah.
sweet daughter.
Yeah, so but anybody you want to say hello to before we end the broadcast?
I can't. All my grandkids and kids. My son off in the Navy in Seattle, Washington, and my son and daughters back home in Jacksonville. We made the trip. We headed home, and I can get started on your mother's 100 to-do list, which never ends. Okay. But,
hey, Tashika and Monique and DeAndre and Andrew and
our granddaughter Maya. I like to call her Maya baby. Hey Maya baby, how you doing?
Hey Bruce.
You know, so
Mhm.
yeah.
Can I show?
I got to talk to her. So
I was gonna say, can I show you what the mother every time she see Tyrone, what she do?
sure,
Okay.
sure,
She,
show us that.
Take him and she embrace him, and then she'll lay on his chest for about 5 minutes and listen to the heartbeat. And then after she get through to listen to the heartbeat, then she gets satisfied. Then she'll turn around, she'll kiss his chest, and then she's satisfied, and then she go home. But
You never know what she's gonna do. You just never know.
we look at them as family. They are our extended family now.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
right.
Tina, Jeff.
Yeah, that's awesome, guys. I mean, because when you have situations like this, you rarely see the recipient,
Right.
traveling to meet someone. I mean, most recipients may not have the financial means to even do that, but I mean, God has afforded you to be able to do that. So it must be a reason all this is happening. Even me, meeting you.
Oh, no.
I mean, because I remember when I saw your story on Facebook and I reached out to you to do this, and I mean, you told me you worked in dialysis, and it's here we are in Bowie, Maryland.
You actually would like to have anyone to say hi to out there. My brothers and sisters, biological brothers and sisters, they help finance the gas for us to drive this way, and also my kids. So I mean, they help with the trip and family. So I really appreciate that, because we felt this was really important for us to be there.
Absolutely.
And my cousin Penny also. So which she live in South Carolina, and we're gonna possibly stop by and see you. So we haven't written it down, but we're gonna see what happens.
That's awesome. I mean, you should see these guys' RV. It's like huge. How many inches? Feet?
34-foot Winnebago.
34-foot Winnebago.
Yeah.
And wow, I can't imagine just living on the road like that.
It's fun.
Yeah, I'm sure. Just no television or anything like that, like the open road.
Yeah, open road.
Well, we have 3 televisions in that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we it's like a house. Michelle's in it.
Right. Wow.
2 slides.
Wow.
Bathroom, shower, everything.
Queen size bed.
Yeah, queen size bed.
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, guys, thank you for taking the time and talking with me.
You're welcome.
I know it's getting late, long
inviting.
day. Hey, I got a chance to travel around Bowie, or you just been sitting still?
We've been here. It's kind of like
he went and got his Krispy Kreme donuts today.
Oh, okay.
The tail. See, the tail.
That's okay. You allow one cheat day.
Yeah.
No, but a lot of people like Krispy Kreme. I used to eat them, but not anymore. They're so sweet.
Yeah, sweetness is my weakness. That's it.
Right. Wow. Okay.
We're going to Washington D.C. tomorrow.
Oh, that's great. Just
she will
bypass the White House.
She said, at least I'll take a picture of it.
Right over the top. Okay.
Yeah, but that's awesome. I'm from Washington D.C. and it's a great town. It really is. A lot of traffic, but I think you'll have a great time in the sights and touring the nation's capital.
Yeah, we're take our time going back. We'll probably be back in Jacksonville around the 16th, 17th. So we're in no real big hurry, other than I have to be there by the 19th to start my annual testing. So,
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much
Okay.
for
Thank you.
coming on and doing
Thank
this
you.
for me. I appreciate it. All right. All right, guys. So getting ready to end this broadcast. Want to thank Tyrone and Dee Brigsby for coming on, and tune in tomorrow for the Warriors Quest from 8:30 to 9:30 with host Jared Brown. See you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.